of friends, all of us have seen the terrible destructiveness of the disease, and not just simply what it does to brain functioning, but the effect that it has on families. So I think we're all very, very eager to hear tonight not only about the disease, but more importantly, some really great strides that are being made towards treatment. And we look forward to hearing from Michael. Dr. Michael Mullan is president and CEO of the Roskamp Institute. And I know you have a biography of him, some biographical information about Michael in your booklet. One of the things that you'll see is that he has about 5 degrees. And that's impressive enough, but I noticed that there seems to be one degree that might be missing here, where he has expertise. I was in the lobby talking with Michael, and he was talking about he'd just come back from Ireland, where he was working with scientists, and he said, you know, it's really quite a task. You have 300 scientists trying to get them organized. And what you could hear was the managerial skill that is required to bring projects like this to fruition. He is himself a great scientist, but it takes that special talent to be able to get people to work together, and certainly for this purpose, to find a treatment for Alzheimer's. We really appreciate everything that he is doing. So please welcome Dr. Michael Mullan.
Thank you very much, Steve. It's a real pleasure to be here this evening. My goal is going to be to bring you up to speed on what we now think causes Alzheimer's, and importantly, of course, what our efforts are to bring this rather disastrous disorder to an end. And I'm going to touch on several topics that are not just scientific. I'm actually going to talk about some things that we may be able to do ourselves to combat the disease and delay the disease. So here's the overview. Who's at risk for the disease? That's something that I think is of great interest to all of us. What is the disease? Exactly what is Alzheimer's? How does it work? Why does it destroy the brain in the way that it does? What do we know about that? What causes it? You know, what triggers it and makes the disease progress? And how can we as scientists stop it? And what are we doing to bring it to an end? And as citizens, what can we do to reduce our risk? Because I think one of the things that's changing, at least in my mind, over recent years, is that we're not entirely helpless against this disorder. There are quite a few things that are emerging from the literature that we can do on a personal level as we wait for new medications to come along to tackle this disease. But from my point of view as a physician and a scientist, of course, what I want to see are medications that can really bring this thing to a halt. And that's what I'll talk about in most detail. Necessarily, I won't be able to cover all topics, of course, and I certainly won't be able to cover all approaches. I will adopt a bias towards what we're doing at the Roskamp Institute. I think it's exciting enough. I think we have made great progress in advancing a drug, which I'll talk to you about, into phase 3 clinical trials, something I'm immensely proud of, because there are so few drugs in the world currently being tested. And you'll hear me say again and again that we need more drugs out there. We need to tackle this disorder much more vehemently than we currently are. Okay, so who's at risk? Well, the answer is, as you know, is all of us. And why is that? Well, because we're living longer. And as you all are probably aware, Sarasota is a sort of a look-forward city for what America's going to look like in not too many decades' time. So the average percentage of individuals over the age of 65 is about 13%, something like that, in the United States as a whole. It's about 17 in Florida, but in Sarasota it's about 32%. So we have a much higher rate of individuals over the age of 65. The weather's nice, people come here to retire. But with it comes this bump in the risk for the disease. So we're looking at who will get the disease in 2020, 2030, 2040, and 2050. And these are the individuals in red over the age of 65, and you don't see